Zinc Media. Feel the power of knowledge.
They are endowed by their creator. And among these are life, liberty, and
Good evening, my fellow Americans. Yes, it is I, your lovable host, Rod, coming to you live from my bunkerized home studio somewhere within the great granite state of New Hampshire. Yes, indeed, we are back live. It is Thursday, January the 3rd in the year of our Lord 2013, as we roll along broadcasting here from the bunkerized home studio in the great granite state of New Hampshire, where the state motto is live free or die. It is not big government or bust. And, today was kind of interesting, because you get people a lot on places like Facebook and other places, and it's really kind of interesting because it's just one of those how can I put this? When you're listening to people that have absolutely no idea what they're really talking about. And, by the way, for people who do not know, there have been some changes to Google stuff. I noticed that today. Now, I don't know when the changes, it didn't take place yesterday. It took place today. There have been some changes at Google. Well, the FTC has dropped some of the things that they were trying to pursue against Google, which pretty much is emboldening Google. So they've instituted some changes, and if you're having a tough time navigating some of the Google stuff like Google Plus or YouTube. Just look around, because they've moved stuff around on you. It's different, and you'll get through it. You will get through it. I promise, and you will survive. But other things like Facebook and Twitter so far are still the same. There's nothing new to report over there. Nothing new on LinkedIn either. LinkedIn is still pretty much the same. So, it's you're good. You are good over there on. Why is this thing doing this? There we go. Just a little problem there with some of the stuff, but. You don't have a problem over there if you are, when you go over to tweet, or or Facebook. But some of the things that I noticed while online today to many a person out there is that they're doing things that are saying things that they have absolutely no clue about, which is kind of disheartening. We had people talking about things like, the deficit in taxes, and that we need the taxes to fund our government to do certain things for people. It's kind of like Christie being out there, being all upset at the Republicans for not voting on the Sandy relief. And it's a sad thing that our society has gone down the road of dependence instead of independence. We all seem to think that somebody else should take care of us. That it's somebody else's fault or problem that we're not as well off as we'd like to be, or as we think that we should be. It's always somebody. It's not our fault. It's somebody else's fault always. And I started paying attention today about that. I mean, I've always been paying attention to it, but I noticed it today on like LinkedIn, business people talking about the fiscal cliff, which, by the way, was the fiscal cliff was the fault of Congress, nobody else's. This Congress, by the way, it was the fault of this Congress because they didn't do their job. So they're out there saying that on places like LinkedIn, business people, that the taxes are necessary in order to provide the services. What services? When it comes right down to it, using the government's own numbers, we know that for every tax dollar collected by the government on social spending, 28 to 32 cents of it gets back, depending on the program, gets back to the public or the recipient, the PO people, as it will, if you will. When we know that many private sector nonprofits that work with the PO, they have, for every dollar that is donated that they collect, as much as 90 to 95 cents of that dollar gets back and gets spent directly on the PO. Where government is, it's only about 28 to 32 cents gets directly spent on the PO. Now, those are government numbers. I'm not making that stuff up. Yes, those are I know some people are saying, well, Rod, you just don't understand. Well, you know what? Those are Obama administration numbers. I'm not making. You can go to go to any of this. If you doubt me, all you have to do is just go to the government sites. You might have to do a little bit of your own math, but it's fairly easy. A little bit of third grade math. Is you just add up everything, because the government tells you they can. You can go to the Treasury Department site and everything. You can find out how much money the government collected, and you can find out what the budget was and how much money they spent, and you can find out what our population is. And then all you got to do is just divide, simple division. So those are government numbers. And you figure out, well, geez, they collected this much money, but they only spent that much. So that means, well, then again, it's a process of simple division. So I don't have to make this stuff up. I know, being accurate with math is probably not something that other people, liberals, like. But you know what? That's, and I got the other thing today. I watched a couple of programs over the holiday break. About food, specifically farming, and how a lot of our small farms are being targeted and just defrauded by the government, literally being defrauded out of their products by the government. And these people have, and you know what, every single story that I watched that talked about these farmers who were taken advantage of by the FDA and other government agencies. They were all told one thing, hey, it was basically one simple thing. It was fear and intimidation and threatening You better not tell anybody that we're here or that we came. And they would confiscate stuff from people without compensating them for it that had nothing. I mean, why would you confiscate a refrigerator unit? Because you think that the yogurt inside was contraband, basically. Well, if you thought the yogurt was dangerous because it was made from raw milk, then you take the yogurt and you destroy it. Why would you take all of their equipment and then destroy it? Why would you take sheep that do not have mad cow disease? In fact, a number of tests that have to be done on these things, on these animals, that were done, all came back negative. Why would you come back to that farm, seize all the sheep, ship them off to Indiana, and destroy them, literally? Kill them and then dissolve them in acid. Why would you? Well, once they're dead and they're dissolved in acid, you can't do any type of autopsies on them. You can't, there's no, you can't, nobody can go back and say, well, no, there was nothing wrong with these sheep. Oh, no, you just say, well, yeah, we found something wrong. So we seized the sheep and we had to kill them and destroy them for the safety. Why would they do that? Why would they tell these people while they're there? And each one of these people has the same story. You better not tell anybody. Why would they come to a non-armed person's farm? Most likely a liberal nut job, by the way. Organic farm. Why would they go to that person's farm with upwards of 113 federally armed, heavily armed federal and state police officers? Why? Why would they not let people either make or receive phone calls while they have them locked up for 6 hours? These are the people that we need to give more money to in our taxes. They're not serving us. They're serving themselves. Plain and simple. I mean, this stuff is documented. People, there are court cases that document this stuff. There are things that are said in court. Oh, by the way, for those of you who think that the government believes that you have a right to health care and to be healthy, that same government through the FDA back in 2010 said in a Maryland federal courtroom in a full statement that, and I quote, Americans do not have a right to health and food the way they want it. So in other words, if you want to have, let's say, raw milk, the government says you don't have a right to have it. You believe raw milk is going to make you healthy, is going to help you get over, I don't know, certain types of allergies or maybe cancers or what have you. No, you don't have a right to be healthy. That is exactly what this federal government back in 2010 in the state of Maryland in a federal court told a judge when a farmer was suing the federal government for taking away their equipment with no good reason. So, again, I'm not making this stuff up. This is what our government is saying and doing. And if you liberals just took the time to even just basically looked at your own liberal nut jobs and the reports that they file, you would see this too. You would know that they're screwing you as well as the rest of us. But I find it amazing. Oh, hey, I got this from the government. And then I'm the one who's brainwashed. Whoa, wait. No, the government is telling me that I don't have a right to health. The government is telling me I don't have a right to eat what I want to eat.